Miles Software has been around in the Middle East for many years, and we currently have about 300 clients in 17 countries who, and what I'm sharing with you is some of the experiences we've had with them, some of the knowledge we've gained on that, as well as some topics that I think are worth deliberating about given what our panelists and our earlier speakers have said earlier. And that's really to deal with digitization, robo advisory, and dealing with the current question is, are machines ever going to take over wealth management? And I think the real answer on this is one startling fact which I read some time ago is that every day we are generating 25 quintillion bytes of data. I don't know how many zeros are in that number, but I mean it's hell of a lot, and to be able to digest, analyze, and be able to infer from that does require more than the human brain, and therefore we're going to have to use machines effectively. And I think one of the questions in the panelists earlier was, what tools do we need to assist our RMs in? And what do we need to be able to do with our RMs from a support and tool standpoint? And the clear answer there is that I think wealth management is based on trust. So far as we know it, most often the trust is built between the two people interacting, and therefore the RM is key. The machines won't take over that role, but I think they need to find a great way to assist those RMs, and that's really the use of technology, the digitization of it, and the robo advisory or machine assisted advisory that needs to come up. We talked about this a little earlier as well. This is the age of millennials. All of the clients are dealing with, the digital natives. They're always connected, seeking personalization. Nobody wants to be given generic advice. Everybody wants to land up on a web page and say, hey, welcome back, Sandeep. Here's what you did last time. Would you like to continue on this? So there's a great deal of that needs to happen, and that's all because we can use machines and we can use what they can learn to present back to clients. And technology at the baseline, what Miles has done with the number of clients vis-a-vis financial planning, vis-a-vis automated responses to queries, vis-a-vis all of that, that's all part of that robotic advisory experience, but it needs to be personalized. It needs to be delivered in a harmonious manner to the client while assisting the RM who always is at the front end of the client interaction. One fact, I don't know if all of you all are aware of, which was again startling, is that the most common ubiquitous global phenomenon some time ago, or at least a decade ago, was the toothbrush. Very commonly used, everybody brushes their teeth. Today, mobile phones outnumber, or users of mobile phones outnumber the users of toothbrushes around the world. 4.8 billion versus 3.2. Very surprising. So we are in the digital age, we are in the connected age, and we need to be able to deal with that age. I think here, where wealth management needs to pay special attention, and we've had this challenge across the board, is that the age of the millennials is a certain segment. There's a segment above that, like one of the panelists said, the 40 to 50-year-olds who may not be as connected and may not need this. So there is a need to provide differentiated advice while dealing with the automation of that advice. And that's a critical part of what we're seeing and being able to talk about. The other part is that there is a great reliance on peers. So the trustedness comes in the digital world from the fact that somebody else has tweeted about it or somebody else has given an opinion about it. And if you can quickly collate that opinion and provide it back to your clients, you're going to be that much better off in gaining his trust and retaining his trust. So I think that's a key learning that we've had from clients, where they're looking at saying, hey, not only give me data which is internal, but give me data that's external. And the external can be social media, can be other blogs, can be opinions, and so on, which help manage the client relationship a lot better. So I think here's the key things that we were talking about earlier, all of which we touched upon: personalized advice, the transparency, the ability to say, hey, how is this return computed? So with a click of a button, if I can elaborate on him that, hey, my composite return of 5% actually meant 2% on the fixed income side, 7% on the equity side, 3% on the derivatives, but these alternative investments actually delivered a negative return, he's that much more keen to continue that relationship versus giving him a composite number on an Excel sheet and say, I really don't know that formula, it looks too complicated for me to decipher for you. So that's really a part of robo advisory and digitization, is being able to get all the layers of the onion peeled away completely right to the core to say this is part of my process over here. Obviously, the question that was asked and answered, I think it needs to coexist. It is the basis of trust, and we need to be able to take that forward as well. DBS Bank and Barclays have empowered, have done some things in Singapore and in the UK as well on the robo advisory, where they're using what I believe is version 2 of robo advisory, and the word that comes out is cognitive computing. I don't know how many of you have heard about cognitive computing. It's really taking knowledge and the technologies to the next level. And at Miles, we're looking to always be at that leading but not bleeding edge of technology. So we're also looking at being able to take that to our clients, which is allow RMs to ask questions in natural language and then be able to answer that. Which says, okay, what are my options to invest in, let's say, a technology stock called Infosys. And based on the client profile, based on what is currently being used as a way of understanding my customer is in the technology world, is known as a persona of one. Every client, I mean, we have profiles, right? So we have client profiles. So he's aggressive, he's conservative, he's moderate. Those are all generic profiles. What the new clients are looking for is a persona of one. How can I take technology, take all the data, take all the quintillion megabytes of data and put it together as a unique persona for him so that the answers that come out to him are always the persona of one. And that's the challenge in front of us, Miles Software and other technology players, to be able to continuously adapt our systems to be able to provide this to the clients. And this is really what is going to take what was talked about earlier, your cost of client servicing, your cost of client acquisition, much lower because you're using technology as a tool. It also allows you to get consistent with the RM and empower the RM with real knowledge that does not have him stumble for answers when he deals with clients. This is really the key to making sure that we have that differentiated advice also coming through, because it's a connected world. I go to an RM, an RM goes to a client, before he's walked out of the door, client's already tweeted or SMS'd his friend, hey, have you invested in this? And he's talking about it already. So unless there's differentiation in that advice and it has the right reasons for it, it's going to look like this is cut and paste, this is cookie cutter, and what's my value proposition over here. So that whole debate about what is my value proposition to a client can be further enabled by using the right technology. So Miles has done that. All of this sounds good, using cognitive computing, using robo advisory, all of that has its own challenges, and some of the things that we've run through with our clients, and there are four of the 25 top GCC banks using our systems, is in data sources, data migration, and all the costs related to that. I think the real story is omni-channel delivery, getting to web services, getting to the mobile, getting to the tablet, and all at the same time. So I think the question really is, we've done so much, but what does the future hold? And these are just some snapshots of, the first slide talks about the fact that UAE Saudi Arabia adopting smartphones much faster than the rest of the world. The per capita use of smartphones is much higher in the GCC as a whole than it is in other parts of the world. The second and the third one, or the last two, are more about what advice are HNIs and UHNIs looking for globally, and key comes out over there is on-time advice and personalized. So I think those are all drivers in this whole space, and I think given what IBM has done, they've come out with a product called Watson. It's the aid to Sherlock, find me things, and allowing you to do that. Whether it's Watson, whether it's a variant of that, it's there as version 2 of the Robo Advisory in the space of cognitive computing, but it's built on the fact that everything is digital, there's lots of data around the world, and it's all big data. So we need some good answers to solve them, and we need to continue to collaborate as technology providers in this whole space to be able to do that. I think I've done my 10 minutes, so I'm going to quickly cut it short and say, Miles is here. We've been around. This is our, I think, 6th year in the GCC. We continue to learn from this, and we're happy to share our experiences as we go forward. Thank you very much.